Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Kim, your favorite yada yada. If you cannot tell, I am beyond excited today, okay? It is a magnificent day, okay? Not just because I'm here or because you're alive, but it's my birthday. It's my birthday, guys, and this ain't no regular birthday either. It's my dirty Yo, I'm so excited. I'm so thankful. Before I even get into this video, I'm gonna take a moment to shout out God, the Lord, my Savior, because I would not be here had it not been for His grace and mercy. Because y'all, I have been through a lot. I really have. It probably, well, you may or may not know, but I've shared some stuff on here, but really not even a fraction of nothing that I've been through. Most of it I kind of keep to myself. People around me know some stuff. There's some things only I know. There's some things only my husband knows. You know, like, you get the gist. But today I thought there is no better way to celebrate my G-Day than to kind of like take a little walk through memory lane, because y'all, whoo-wee, 30 years. Lost words, honestly. I couldn't even sleep last night. I was up all night last night just reflecting, just thinking about everything, talking with my husband, and oh my gosh, like, we laid down in the bed at like before 10, and we were up talking until like 12 something. So he got to tell me happy birthday before I went to sleep. I was like, oh my gosh. It was almost like a countdown. It felt very much like a death and a resurrection at the same time, because I was like, oh my gosh, it's still my last couple hours in my 20s. Like, I'm closing out a whole decade. And I just feel so gosh, yes. So I am gonna be getting ready because I do have some things to do today. And I figure, you know, I don't do my makeup often, but if there's gonna be a time to do it, it's gonna be my birthday. Hello. And if you are new here, first of all, welcome to the family. We are one big happy family over here, so go ahead and join in. We accept pretty much everybody as long as you respectful, because we got a little order to how things go over here. We don't bully, we don't, no hate speech, so don't come over here saying nasty things in the comments. Absolutely not. Zero tolerance when it comes on to that. So aside from that, if you good vibes and you good people and you want to be a part of the family, then you know what to do. I am a licensed master cosmetologist. I specialize mostly in like bridal hair and makeup. I also do luxury hair extensions, so like microlinks, eye tips, stuff like that. But all of that is on my other channel. I have a beauty channel as well. Not been very active on either of these channels, but I do plan to change that. You know, we're stepping into a new decade, a new era. Some things have to change, okay? And we need to buckle down and get serious with life. I feel like we're kind of zoomed in. I'm having to bend my back to be in the camera frame. There we go, much better. So yeah, I'm not gonna talk any more than this because it's already like pretty much like 5 minutes and I have not done anything yet. I just put these eye patches on. They're from Goodall. I love them mostly because they're clear, as you can tell, and they are very high in vitamin C. I feel like I have neglected my skincare routine a lot lately, and as such I can definitely tell my under eyes especially just look so sunken in, I feel like. But that could also be the age, child. Now let me stop. I really don't think that 30 is old. It's so funny how that works, because when I was younger, definitely I felt like 30 was like, oh my gosh, 30 years old. And even my kids seem to think that 30 is just like, I don't like, actually, no, I finally just feel like I'm an adult now. If you know, you know. I feel like the 20s, ugh, so glad to just be out of that depressing era. Now, I wasn't depressed really for most of my 20s, but it was a interesting time, to say the least. I'm just gonna be doing my makeup. I'm not gonna be talking about what I'm putting on my face because this is not my beauty channel. It's more like a chit chat. Get ready with me. And like I said, I'm just gonna take a walk down memory lane. Woo, bless me. I got my cup of tea here. It is the morning time over here, and this is a ginger turmeric tea. Love it, love it. I'm a tea girl. I've come to realize that I love turmeric. I do like turmeric in tea. Yeah. So like I was saying, this is not my beauty channel, so it's not gonna be a tutorial. I just feel like there's no true way to really appreciate this journey other than just reflecting, you know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of things we go through in life, they're not really unique to us. We feel when we're in the moment like we're going through things alone, because a lot of times we just really keep it to ourselves, and that's fine. I definitely feel like it's like a double-edged sword, sharing when you're going through something actively versus just like waiting until you've kind of like came out on the other side and then talking about it then, what you learn. You know, just like give it time for the story to actually unfold and God to reveal to you what he's teaching you in that moment, because 9 out of 10 times while you in the midst of it, you really don't understand what's going on. And even when we bad people, child, when bad things happen to us, we just tend to be like, oh my gosh, why is this happening to me? So I'm no different from that. Like I said, I've had a very interesting life. My skin is already prepped. I did some skincare. I was giving it some time to kind of absorb. I don't have any primer on my face yet, but I do think I'm going to start on my eye area. And I don't have my full makeup case right here, and I will not be going to get it. So I'm just going to make do with what all I got in this bathroom. Oh, I'm glad I got this. I'm going to go ahead and put some of this on my lip right now. Oh, it's red. It's a lip balm from Persona, but it's red. I'm just going to put a tip. It's like a little lip tint. Yeah, you see the way I put just a little bit of lip balm, not too much, not just like boom in your face like that. Very subtle, very classy, very mindful, very respectable, very cutesy, if I do say so myself. Feel me? Very demure. Yeah, if you know, you know. I just had to. But anyways, yeah. So let's go all the way back to the back. I'm a 90s baby, y'all. Of course, I think that's definitely the best era. I was born in 1994 in Jamaica. If you don't know, I am Jamaican by birth, and I was born and raised there. A lot of people feel like I don't know, like I've lived in the US a lot longer than I have. Oh my gosh, I need to stop fumbling in this drawer here. It's annoying. Let me just take out some of the stuff I need. But yeah, a lot of people think I live here a lot longer than I have. I'm guessing because, I don't know, they think I don't sound Jamaican, but you know, if you know, you know. A lot of Jamaican people do speak like me. I'm not gonna get too much into it. Okay, good. I do have like a brow gel here, because I was like, dang, I don't got nothing here to do my brows. My eyebrows are microbladed, so I'm really not gonna do much to them. I'm just gonna like brush them up a little bit. Yeah, so born and raised in Kingston, Jamaica. Not really very humble beginnings, you know, like I was not poor or anything like that. Like my family was like pretty much like middle class, so I grew up with pretty much everything a child would need to be okay. However, I did have from a young age a very interesting life. Yeah, like most, well not most, but like a lot of kids, I had an absentee father, and child, I don't know what was going on with this guy, but he was so disruptive, man. Like this guy was very much like in and out of my life. Just, you know, just would pop in when he felt like it, just out the blue, to the point where when I was a little bit older, he actually went to jail, y'all, and I didn't even know he was in jail because I was just so used to not seeing him for a while. So there was that. And I mean, regardless of all of that, you know, I really did love my daddy. I felt like I had a very interesting relationship with my mom and my stepdad, mostly because you know how that is when you're raised by your parents and they're the ones you see all the time. They are, you know, like the disciplinarian. We don't really like him, and there's like this false sense of, oh, if I didn't live here, or if I lived with my other parent, like things just wouldn't be like that, because it's easy for things to look like that when somebody just pops in, spends like an hour, 2 hours with you, 30 minutes, and they're just the cool parent in that moment. So it was pretty much one of those situations where I really felt like I wanted to be with my dad, because my mom was just so strict and whoop whoop whoop. It didn't help either that he would come around, and this man was so messy, y'all. Like, he was so messy. He would come around and just be like gossiping with me, trying to like put things in my ear about my stepdad and all kind of stuff. So needless to say, me being as young as I was, my stepdaddy and I could not get along for nothing, okay? So we had a really rocky relationship, and that was basically most of my home life, and that carried on for a long time. Pretty much the entire time I lived at home, my stepdaddy and I were like at each other's throats a lot. And most times my mom ended up just getting caught in the crossfire, because, you know, he looking at her like, well, you my wife, this your daughter, you know, you supposed to da 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 da, and I'm looking at it like, well, you my mom, like you supposed to da 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 da. So I don't envy my mom at all, because that is a tough situation. So I won't speak on that too much, but I just want to give you a little bit of context. So there was that, and then also I grew up in the church. So I grew up in church from a very young age. I like had a very good awareness of God's existence. I believe in God, I think, from the get-go. I don't really, like, I used to go to Sunday school and all that, but I don't really recall there being a time where people really had to like convince me that God was real. I just feel like I sort of knew, like as far back as I can think, I always knew God existed. So I was like a little church girl. I even got the pastor's award and all of that when I was young a couple of times, and you know, of course, that made me feel real good. That was doing what I need to do. I'm not gonna like clean up under my brows, because I don't want it to look like too perfect, and my brows are already maculated, so they are gonna like just by default look perfect. But what I will do though is put some concealer underneath, because I don't have no primer in here, so I gotta use this as my eyeshadow primer, and I'm just gonna use the back of my hand because I don't have anything else in here to use. So anyways, yeah, grew up in church, got the pastor's award, all that good stuff. Really enjoyed going to church. VBS, summer camp, like all of that was my jam. Okay, now after that, like, life was pretty much the same for like a while. Just me and my parents bickering, beefing all the time, and then going to church, that just being like my escape from home. Because aside from going to school and church, like, there was nowhere else that I was going. My parents were actually strict. I was not allowed to just be out here doing whatever. I was not going to no parties, no nothing, even in high school. So of course, you know, the older I got, the more this beef with my stepdad just got just worse. Because I got older, I feel like I had a voice. I had, you know, got used to getting my butt whooped. So I mean, I really wasn't scared of that anymore. So I just felt real bold. I was like, oh, okay, like, that's what we gonna do. So I was ready for it, you know what I mean? And I haven't had a carve off my brows in a minute. Yeah, growing up in the Caribbean, y'all, people, there's like a certain order to things. Like, there's not much priority put on the mental state of children. Like, mental health is like not a thing. It's like non-existent. Nobody talks about it. Like here, where you find like gentle parenting, or people try to like hear their kids out, it's kind of like a conversation sometimes to, you know, like explain things to your kids, or just, you know, be nice. That's really not a thing where I'm from. And it was also like pretty much seen as like being very disrespectful and like talking back to your parents. It was very much kind of like a mindset of children should be seen and not heard. You know, when there are grown people in the room, you just excuse yourself. You don't really, like, if your parents say to go do something, you're not standing there asking like why 1,000 times or trying to like get a full explanation as to like why you are to do what they told you to do. You just go do it. And if you feel like asking later on, you can ask later on, but it better be after you have done what they said to do. Now, that being said, with me and my parents not getting along, really, I didn't really feel like doing that, because most times I felt like that was the only way I could get back at them for things that I was upset about. So I was pretty much like a difficult child, but I feel like I was, you know, like treated very unfairly, and I felt like nobody cared to either listen to me when I was saying, hey, I don't like this or that. You know, I really much felt the burden of being seen and not heard. So, and I feel like it weighed heavily on me, and too many people don't really speak up on this in the Caribbean. People do, but I don't know, it might be a trauma response, y'all, because we really just make a joke out of it and just be like, oh yeah, you know how it is growing up in the Caribbean and whatever. And I mean, y'all, it ain't for the weak. That's all I'm gonna say. It's the same, I know, in like African households. Just a lot of similarities. Like, you just, there's certain things that are expected of you, and you just know what time it is. So, you know, I had like a rough childhood. I'm not gonna get into it too much. I might share in details later on in life if God permits me to, because one, I want to make sure that when I'm sharing things, that I'm not just saying it from a place of, oh, I'm upset or this or the third, or that when it is delivered, people don't take it and just run with it and think that my parents are bad people, because there's been a lot of growth since then, you know what I mean? And just like how God gives us grace and gives second chances, and you know, you're just supposed to repent and all of that, I believe that when people exhibit, you know, a genuine remorse for hurting people, either intentionally or unintentionally, and most importantly that they change the behavior, then I don't feel like you should hold them and crucify them to the cross and just, you know, keep beating a dead horse. So I feel like eventually I will share, just because I do genuinely feel like a lot of the things I went through in life were not really for myself. They're to help other people, because otherwise, y'all, I really just can't explain why one person would go through so much. And you'll probably be confused, because I'm really not going to share everything I went through, because this is not me airing out my dirty laundry. It's just a little walk down timeline, right? So fast forward from all of that, right? Remember I told y'all I really had loved going to church. Now, after a while, with what I just told y'all about the Jamaican culture of how like kids are supposed to behave, people pretty much started gossiping about me, that I was like a bad child, or whoop to whoop to whoop. Like, I started going to church and feeling like really uncomfortable, because like every time I would go, people would be just like bombarding me, asking me like, oh, you behaving yourself and da 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 da. And I was just like so confused, because it just felt like there was just like no safe space. I would go to church, like, you know, to kind of escape from my situation, and then going and seeing like the people that I enjoyed hanging out around, just like talking about my personal life. And not even that, just the way how they came to me, it felt like they had already kind of like came to a conclusion of the situation, that I was in the wrong. I don't feel like anybody came to me with the approach of, hey, what's going on, or just ask me a question, you know? So people coming to me constantly being like, oh, are you behaving yourself, or da 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 da. It was annoying to me, so I stopped going to church. I felt like, you know, when people talk about church hurt, it's a serious thing, because I really had loved my church family like my own family. This is where I spent the majority of my time, aside from being home. I'm talking about like during convention and stuff like that. I'd be at church in the morning, and I'd be back at church in the evening. My mom was also very active in the church, so like I wasn't just attending. Hold on, my mom's calling me. Speaking of the devil. Hello.
Hello, good morning. Happy birthday.
Good morning. Thank you.
Are you still in bed?
Sorry, y'all, my mom called, so I kind of like basically finished up my eye. I'm just going all matte today. Just like I said, nothing crazy. Yeah, I don't even remember where I was at just because my mom called. But anyways, yeah, like I was saying, pretty much church didn't feel like a safe place to me, home didn't feel like a safe place to me, and all of that. So I could not wait to move out, y'all. I was like, get me out of here. And I used to literally sit and just like daydream what my life was gonna be like as an adult. I was like, when I have kids, how I'm gonna be as a parent, like just all kinds of things. That being said, like I spent a lot of time kind of like in and out of my house. Before I officially moved out, I went to juvie twice. I actually have, I think on this channel actually, one video titled like the truth about juvie, and in that story I actually went a little bit in depth about like how that experience was and blah blah blah. But I went to juvie twice actually. It was a horrible experience, of course. It made me even more angry at my parents. I was like, oh, bet y'all sent me to juvie? Okay. And I really felt like, dang, we finna do everything except be accountable. And I just realized at that time, being a kid in the situation, like I just was always gonna end up with the bad end of the stick without cussing. So yeah, I pretty much just developed like a mental state where I felt like I was protecting myself, but I got really, really, really cold. Like I just wasn't the jolly child that I was, and I don't know, like I didn't like hate people, but I also was just like I didn't have any real care for them. I was just like, it is what it is. I don't think I expected much out of life. I wanted things, and like I said, I did daydream all the time about how life was gonna be when I grew up, but at the same time I feel like deep down I just didn't feel like I was worth it. Like my self-worth was just like shocked, and I questioned God for a lot of like the things that happened to me when I was younger. Some of the closest people assaulted me in ways that was just like, I don't know, like it just makes you really think, gosh, like if there's a God, like why would things like this happen, especially to children? You know what I mean? Like I told you in the beginning, like even when we doing bad things and bad things happen back to us, we're just like, oh my gosh. So imagine when you're a child and you're thinking, dang, like I haven't even lived no life yet. I haven't done nothing. Like just some people are just born into cruel situations, and life really just isn't fair. And that's why I'm sharing the story, because I know a lot of us do walk around daily with like a heavy weight of just feeling like you just weren't one of the chosen ones, and like you're not loved, you're not worthy, you wasn't worth it. If God doesn't exist, he don't exist for you. Like it just feels like a very blah experience. Like I can't explain it no other way, but it's like every day that you wake up, you just happen to wake up, but there's just like no purpose. It's just a miserable existence, really. And I don't think I really realized that it was like that bad while I was living like that. It became a norm to me. So I was just like in survival mode for so long that I just got up and went about my day. I really didn't expect anything good from people because of my experiences with them. Yeah, I was just going about my life and just didn't care much for anything. I was partying a lot, because you know how that goes, drinking your life away. And I felt like I was having fun. I felt like it was healing me and blah 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 blah. So I spent a lot of my time hanging out with strangers, because I mean, oddly enough, I'm not gonna lie, when I used to party a lot, I do feel like I did meet a lot of strangers that I feel like were more like family to me than my own family. I feel like I have some amazing friends. And as a person, like, I always was like a ride or die person for my friends, because like ever since childhood, it was really a lot of times that, like I said, when my parents and I didn't get along, I would get like put out a lot, or I would just leave willingly or whatever. And most of the times, like, I showed up at my friends' doorsteps, and you know, like, I'm thankful for their moms and those kind of things that would always let me in, would always, you know, like, it don't matter if it's 7 o'clock in the morning, they still sleep. I knock on that door, they say, who is it? And I say, it's Kim. They open the door up, and I just come in, I just lay down. You know what I mean? And my friends like that, I think I will love them forever. Yeah, my friends like that, I think they will always have a special place in my heart. And sometimes, like, I feel like they were like angels, just like angels, man, because these people really did save my life. Like, they kept me out of a lot of bad situations. They kept me off the streets, because even though, like, I wasn't staying at my house, there was no point in time that I was just like staying on the streets. You know what I mean? Like, I always had somebody that I could go to. So it's like very interesting, because it's like, even though I didn't have like any faith in humanity, at the same time, it's like the people that I love and I believed in them, but just everybody else, I just really didn't expect much from. But anyways, fast forward, the hate, you know, only grows when you fester like bad things that people do to you, and you harbor it, and it becomes like unforgiveness and resentment and all of that stuff. It really is so negative and plays a very negative role in your life. It helps you to just not really be able to properly heal, so you just always hold on to that situation, and it's like you're frozen, stuck in, I guess, the mental state of where you were when the offense happened to you. So like, for example, things that happened to me as a child, it's like your inner child never got to heal or move on past it, so it's like hard to grow up, you know what I mean? And some people just really like stuff things and just go on with their life, because we could definitely do that, but you're in survival mode and you're really not operating to your maximum potential, because in order to do that, you need to be a healed, whole version of yourself who can tap into every layer of your being, who does not look at the situations that you've been through and feel pity for yourself or anything like that. You don't think that you are the circumstances that you've been through, you know what I mean? You see them just for what they are. Bad people doing bad things, and sometimes bad things do happen to good people, but you know, I'm thankful that the last couple of years, like I'd say maybe like last 2 years, the Lord has been dealing with me real heavy. Like, he came back for me full force. I told y'all I really did not believe in God after just so many things that I had been through. I was working in a strip club multiple times for a long period of time. I was smoking, I was doing drugs, I was drinking pretty much every day. Like, this last decade of my life had been a decade that really could have like killed me, like either intentionally or unintentionally. I got pregnant in college. I went to college, and when I went to college, like, I feel like I just did it because, you know, in the Caribbean, it's just what you do. And I've always been a smart person, so I knew that I was going to be successful, or I wanted to be successful, and I just thought the only way to do that is, you know, get good grades in school, you go to college, obviously. So I went to college, but I don't think I knew what I wanted to do in life. I was doing food and beverage management, but like most things that I did in my life in that time period, I really feel like I was living to spite others. So I know I picked food and beverage management just because I wasn't allowed to cook at home. So I was so annoyed by that I just told myself, okay, well then I'm gonna cook at school, and I'm just gonna be so good at it and whatever. Like, I feel like I wanted to prove something that I didn't need to prove. So I ended up really focusing a lot of my energy and doing culinary arts at school, and I did very well at it, not gonna lie. Like, obviously I did well enough to go get into college and have that be my major, but like, it was interesting, but I also slightly feel like I knew it wasn't what I wanted to do full time. Sorry, I'm just like standing over here in the dark, trying to figure out what brush I want to use to put this highlighter on. Because I do not want to use my fingers. But yeah, so I feel like I knew I wasn't doing what I needed to do, but also like I just didn't know what to do instead. So I just was just like going with the flow, pretty much living a life without purpose, and that is no way to live, because eventually it'll have to stop. And that's what ended up happening. Like, I just got so tired of going to school and pretending, and at this point that I was in college, I was not living with my parents. So I was not living with my parents, so my parents did not know what I was doing at school. They didn't know I was skipping pretty much all my classes. My mom was so confused every time. Like, I would get my report card, and she'd be like, how is it possible that you're failing all your classes? And I'd be like, I don't know, like, something must be wrong. And I know dang well I was just, like, not going to any of the classes. And it was interesting because I didn't want to drop out of college, but like I said, like, I really just was so uninterested. But eventually I felt really bad that I was like wasting my mom's money, and I knew I could not keep it up, and I eventually was gonna get kicked out anyways, because like I said, my grades weren't good after I went there. So I told my mom like that January, hey, you know, I got Christmas break, and that January that I was supposed to go back, I just like called my mom from my dorm room. I just basically told her, hey, don't register me to go back in January. I feel like you're wasting your money. And it was such a hard decision, y'all, because like I said, I did not know what I wanted to do. So it's one thing calling your parents and telling them you don't want to go to college. It's another thing telling them you don't want to go to college and you don't have a plan. Like, it was so insane. But I was just like trusting my gut. I was like, yeah, this is not for me. But then here's the icing on the cake, y'all. So right after I told my mom this, like literally the same month, probably like 2 weeks later, I found out I was pregnant. So I was pregnant, and I was like, oh my gosh. So this now is where things really, really, really started to go downhill for me. I thought that I had already went through the worst parts of my life. I was so happy now that, you know, I was done with high school. I pretty much had moved out on my own. So I was really thinking that life was just, you know, about to start. Like, I was, you know, about to be doing this or that. I just made the decision to stop going to college, but I still definitely felt like I had something going on for myself, and I was about to, you know, like have time to figure it out. But no, absolutely not. God had different plans for me. I was definitely pregnant, and y'all, this was the beginning of the scariest time of my life, and this lasted for so long. I had the most depressing pregnancy ever. Like I said, y'all, I did not love myself, so I allowed myself to just be with this deadbeat that just turned around and treated me like crap the second he found out that I was pregnant. He wasn't that way before, you know, I got pregnant. You know how that is, because I really did beat myself up for this for a long time after, you know, way after getting out the relationship. I had to learn to forgive myself, because for a while I was like, how did I not see the red flags? How did I allow myself to go through this? Like, why would I do that? You know what I mean? Like, as a friend, if any of my friends had came to me and said, hey, I'm with this boy and he's doing this and the third, I'd be like, are you an idiot? Like, you need to get up and leave. So I felt like when it was me in that situation, I was like, I really had let myself down, and I was like, wow, girl, I cannot believe it. So I was really in disbelief, and I feel like it's so crazy because I was so much in disbelief that I feel like I just didn't even have the strength to leave. So I was staying with an abusive person, not only like verbally, but like physically abusive. And I just didn't want to leave. Like, I was like begging this man to be with me, even though he was treating me like crap. So pretty much like in love with your abuser. So it was just like one of those like sad situations. And it took a long time actually for me to really get the courage to be like, okay, you know, I guess I'm just gonna do this on my own. And I mean, I always knew I could do it on my own, because truthfully, like, when I told him I was pregnant, he straight up said he did not want no parts of it. And I wanted things to work so bad, I think because of the relationship I had with my stepdad, that I always said growing up I would never have a stepdad for my children. And so I really was just like, wow, I cannot believe I'm repeating history. So I was very, very, very disappointed in myself, and I feel like that was a harsh reality for me to accept. So that was the main reason why I kept staying, because I felt like nobody's gonna love my child like their biological father, because I felt like if I had lived with my biological father, that the life I had would not have existed and things would have been so much better. But y'all, you know, it takes time for things to play out, for you to see that God really has your best interests at heart. Because later on, when I figured out who my father really was, that was also a rug pull right up onto me. I was like, wow, like I'm not gonna speak on it, but this man is a literal, I'm not gonna say nothing, because, you know, it's not Christian of me to label him as anything, because I don't know if he has worked on himself since then, and, you know, if he's prayed about whatever it is that he did to me. So I'm gonna leave that in God's hands. But yeah, let's just say I'm in therapy now, mostly because of this man. So anyways, yeah, fast forward, and now I'm in this situation, and I really, like, I feel like these situations were like humbling, but also just like degrading. Like, I really felt like just so disappointed in myself. I really never thought I would ever be in a situation like that. So I just didn't know what to do, because this is not anything I ever thought about. I thought I was smarter than that. I thought I was too pretty for that. I thought I knew better. I thought if somebody ever put their hands on me, I definitely would beat their butt and I would be out of there like immediately. I never like would foresee the things that I would allow myself to go through. And you know, therapy helps a lot, because it definitely has shown me a lot of the reasons why I did put up with some things that I did. And, you know, it has also allowed me to forgive myself for not leaving sooner. And yeah, so now here we are, fast forward, right? And this is years later, like a whole decade later, because I was pregnant when I was 20 years old. So this is literally the beginning of the last decade. Like I said, since having my child, I made a series of other bad decisions, from working in strip clubs and all that good stuff. I've kind of hopped around the place, moved all over, because I really felt unsettled everywhere that I was at. I just was so confused. I felt like God had forsaken me, but at the same time, I wasn't looking for him, because like I said, I really had lost my faith in God way in my childhood. So this is a huge gap here, from going from, you know, receiving the pastor's award and really being at church every single Sunday, looking forward to it and all of that, to just straight up like not believing in God. Because like I said, I always believed in God. I just was mad at him. I felt like, wow, like, I guess you don't care about me. And I don't know, it felt like I was that kid all over again, whose parents were just like, okay, whose parents were just like treating them unfairly. I felt like he didn't care enough about me to come and save me, because I'm just making a whole concoction of foundations on my arm, because I don't think my shade is what it needs to be right now. So I'm just using like a bunch of different random stuff. But anyways, yeah, I felt like, you know, he didn't care enough about me to come deliver me from these situations, because like I said, I grew up believing in God, and I heard that he was almighty, he was this, he was that, he was the deliverer, he was the redeemer, and then I was not seeing those things happening for me. I was like, you the redeemer, you delivering people, and I'm reading in the Bible that you saving how many thousands of people and performing all these miracles, but here I am going through all these things, especially when I was a child, and you have not came to save me. You have not delivered me. Like, I was really, really, really just furious. Like, I don't think anybody could have came and tried to minister me in those years. I think things happened the way that it should have, and it just had to play itself out and give me time. And I feel like God knew that. So, you know, going through life, just continuing to make bad decisions just out of my place of hurt and anger, both at myself, my parents, everybody. Okay. A good mix, if I do say so myself. Yeah, so I was like mad at everybody under the sun, and I was just like going through life and just, you know, letting things play out on its own. This is not a foundation brush by any means. I'm just going to get the product on here, including on my neck, because I need to drag it down some because my neck is darker usually than my face. But we are now in the middle of winter. Not winter, summer. So my face definitely isn't like my winter shade anymore. That's why I had to just mix up so many things to try to get it to do what it needed to do. But yeah, so during this time of anger and hurt and all that good stuff, I did not go back to church, but God definitely was still in the midst of everything. Okay, was still in the midst of everything. He strategically placed some people in my life that would forever change my life, and I did not realize it at the time. One of those persons was my husband. I met him randomly, y'all, like so randomly. There's also a story on this page, well, this channel, that talks about how we met. So if you're interested in hearing that, like, you can definitely just go watch it. But yeah, so we met really randomly, and at the time that I met him too was a time that my life was really in another turmoil, y'all. Like, I had to end up sending my child back to Jamaica because I was just physically unable to take care of her. I was homeless, and like I said, I was kind of like bouncing around, just living in different places, staying with relatives, staying with friends, all of that. And I just felt like, you know, just doing the selfless thing as a parent in that moment was to give her up because I just could not take care of her. And it just was too inconsistent. I feel like it was not stable. And in Jamaica, you can start school at a certain age. So I was like, well, at least if she's in Jamaica right now, she'd be going to school. Like, she'll have like some sort of normalcy for her life until I can figure out what is going on with me, what direction I'm going in. Like, I really felt like ever since being pregnant, y'all, I could not catch a break. It was just like one thing after another, after another, after another. And I was over it. I was so tired of it. I'm thankful that I never had the feeling that my child would be better off without me, and I never was suicidal, but I definitely felt like just worthless, and just like I had failed in so many ways. I felt like my life was just so far down the drain that I really did not know how I was gonna fix it. I didn't know what the next step was gonna be. I didn't know where to go. This is a big country, way bigger than Jamaica, y'all. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what state I need to be living in. I don't know who I need to be around. I don't know where I'm gonna find the best opportunities. I need to find a place to live. I don't know. Like, I was just so lost. And hold on one second. Yeah, y'all, I was so lost. And I was lost in every single way that you can think. Like, yeah, I feel like I just was in definite the peak of my survival mode here, where I was just like getting up daily, just like getting up and just doing whatever I could do that day. Oh my gosh, y'all, my husband's calling me. So sorry. Yeah, so I was just like really just going with the flow and just getting up daily and just doing the best I can with what I could. The cards that were given to me. Yeah, and I just kept doing that for a while. And then, like I said, something drastic happened, and I ended up just making the impulsive decision that I had to leave where I was at with no plan as to where I was going next. Just, you know, just going, just a leaf blowing in the wind. And happened to meet my husband that very day. So in the midst of what I thought was just, oh, here we go again, like another whirlwind, of course, like it doesn't ever end, God still showed his goodness and his grace to me in that moment, because he sent me somebody that would literally just change my life. And I met him, and when I met him, y'all, I really was just like so hurt. I was not trying to talk, like I was not looking for anybody. Actually, I told myself this was about to be my single girl era, because I had just got out of another long relationship that was just like mentally draining for me, just like so emotionally taxing. And I was just like, yeah, I'm done with this for now. Like, I'm good. I'm just about to do me. I'm not worried about nobody. I don't need nobody. I think I do much better by myself. You know how that go. I can do better all by myself. So I was just like thinking that, you know, I had no desire to be married or to be with anybody. I was not looking for a husband. And yeah, I was just in that very hurt place. But then when we met, it's so strange, because it's like I just knew that this person was not like a regular person that I would meet. And mind you, like, I'm not going to tell y'all the story because, like I said, you have to watch it. But we met on a bus. So we met on a random bus, and we were not going to the same destination. So it was very strange that I met him and I felt like he would be in my life forever, even though we were going to two different states. And like I said, I was in a state of like my life where I didn't even have nothing stable going on for myself. So I didn't even know where exactly I was going to go, where I was going to be at in the next couple of months, like none of that. But I just knew when I met him that yeah, in some way, shape, or form, this guy was gonna be connected to my life in a very big way. We spent the majority of that bus ride talking, and I feel like that was the first time in a long time that I feel like somebody was just there for me, that was listening to me. And that, it's weirdly enough, like, even though we had just met, I felt like he cared about me. Yeah, I had a lot of times in that situation too, especially like in the beginning. Just, I don't know if I was just like nervous from my previous situations with men. Okay, baby. No, not right now. Let me see it. Oh, wow. Wonderful. Yeah, I was so tired of all those situations with men that I think I fought and resisted a lot in the beginning, because like I knew the feelings I had for him, but at the same time, like nothing else had worked out for me in the past. And I feel like every single time I had got close to somebody, I figured out that they wasn't who I thought they were. And it just always ended up making me feel very just like annoyed with myself. So I was just like, yeah, obviously I'm not good at picking these people, so I am just going to just leave that one alone. And yeah, I just was not looking for anybody. So I was really back and forth a lot in the beginning. And I think he was too, you know, just because, you know, we just both had a lot going on. So it's like we had this weird feeling like we're supposed to be together, but at the same time, both of us kind of being like, but should we though, you know? So I was resisting that, but it was one of those things where I really just could not fight it. So we definitely obviously ended up being together because we're married now. But yeah, so that was probably the first good thing to happen to me in over a decade, or like a long time. We got married when I was like 23. So it's been 7 years now. We have 2 beautiful kids from that marriage, and then of course my oldest child, which, get this y'all, remember how I told y'all in the beginning that I kind of stayed where I was not appreciated, and not only not appreciated, but where I was really being abused? Yeah, like, remember I told y'all like I was basically so, you know, like against having a stepfather for my child, that I really was just like putting up with what, you know, like things that I knew were not for me, and allowing myself to be treated in ways that I knew I did not deserve. Just because, I don't know, I guess I felt like there was just not anything better out there for me. And it's just so amazing, y'all, because watching my daughter and this man fall in love with each other was even better than me and him falling in love with each other. And it's something that I told myself I was not gonna force. I was not in a rush to like tell myself that, oh yeah, we gonna be together and like we so locked in that like I know for sure like we not gonna be apart, because to me it was definitely gonna be a deal breaker if they could not get along, because I just feel like as a mom that's my job, to protect my kids from the people that I let into their life, you know what I mean? And especially my daughter had two men already in her life that did not work out. And while, you know, her biological dad didn't really stick around, so I mean, she knows him, but like it's not enough of a relationship where I feel like that one hurt. But the other person I talked to after that, like we were together for a couple of years, so you know, and she was older by then, so she did know them and his family and all of that. So I really did feel bad too when that one did not work out. So I was just like, dang, yeah, I think I'm just gonna be single until my child gets older, because I just really can't keep doing this. And yeah, so that's how that ended up going. And y'all, everything in my life kind of just went up and up from there. I think it's so important to just value ourselves, to see ourselves the way that God sees us, to know that you are so loved and so appreciated, and that even when things aren't going right in your life, because you know there are evil people in the world, that God still loves you and God still exists, and he is there whenever you are ready to reach back out to him, or even when you're not, like he'll come find you. Because I feel like he came and got me, because like I said, I do not recall a time period where I went back and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go back to church, or I'm gonna this or that. Like I wasn't even praying, y'all, really. I just was going, and I'm glad that he thought enough of me and that my life means so much that he really just did not leave me behind or leave me to myself, my own thinking that I got this, or you know, like just me leaning into my own understanding. He's like, no, baby girl, you do not. You don't got this, but I do. And he sent me all the things that I needed. Like even in my time as a child when I was going through so much, he did give me friends that helped sustain me, that helped me not completely believe that everybody is bad and that nobody loved me. I did believe that people love me, just not the people I wanted to love me, but I love the people who love me, you know what I mean? And they kept me going. Like when I was pregnant and I was depressed, I was sad that the person who I had this child with didn't love me. But after I had my baby, y'all, oh my gosh, like I was so sad and nervous because I knew I wasn't in a position to really take care of her. But I knew without a shadow of a doubt I had my person. Like, ooh, I'm trying not to cry, y'all, but like I had my person. There was no better feeling. Like I was so nervous about being pregnant when I didn't plan for it, and I felt like, oh my gosh, why would this happen now when I just made such a drastic decision to drop out of school? I hadn't even had a minute to figure out what I'm gonna do yet, like, and I'm pregnant, like I have a whole child. But oh my gosh, in hindsight, I can look and I can see that that is exactly what I needed in that moment. I needed her to help me change the whole trajectory of my life, because like I said, I had been so far away from God in that moment where I was really just going downhill anyways. And had I not had her, I don't think there would have been a reason for me to like halt. I think after I had her, I definitely didn't feel like going back to God, but I definitely felt like I could not keep living the way that I was. And even though I did make other bad decisions, like going to work in the strip club and all that good stuff, I went into them with a better mindset than I did back in the day. You know what I mean? I think if I had worked in a strip club when I didn't have kids and I didn't have like my priorities straight and all of that, I probably would have got into so many things that I should not have. And yeah, that whole experience taught me a lot as well. It taught me a lot about myself, and having her definitely grounded me. It helped me have something to fight for on days where I felt like the load was just so heavy and so hard. In times where I felt like, God, why me? Like, it's just always me. And I've learned to look at that now as not a thing to be angry at God for, but to really actually ask that question, but not from a place of being hurt or angry, like, God, it's always me, like, you always got me in some mess. But looking at it like, wow, Lord, like, thank you that you think I'm strong enough to go through these things, and that it will not break me, and that my story someday will be able to help others, to change lives. I really do believe that things that I have gone through, if nothing else, will at least help my daughter not repeat the same mistakes that I did. You know what I mean? It will help me to see, like the things that my mom did, not to say wrong, but the things that she could have done differently. I'm thankful that he changed my perspective to the point where I wasn't just like mad at her and not willing to repair the relationship, but that we have repaired the relationship, we speak, and that I'm able to give her insight into the things that she could have done differently, so that she does have that opportunity to pray about it and get forgiveness. Because it's not really up to me to be angry at her forever. It doesn't do me any service. And I realized too that as long as I was still so angry at these people, I just could not move on. Like, every time I was out drinking, I had a drunk night or whatever, I was boo-hoo crying about the same stuff that hurt me when I was a child, y'all. And it was just a endless depressing cycle for way too long. And I'm thankful that God loved me enough to reach his arm back out and just say, hey, look, I got you. And even though it was hard, and it did take a lot of courage to really just face head on a lot of the hurt that I experienced, I'm glad though that it still ended up like healing me eventually. Like, me and my therapist are like this. I go to see her tomorrow, and I cannot wait to tell her how I'm so excited for this new era in my life. I'm excited to be 30. I'm not worried about anything at all. Like, being in God has shown me that I can really rest in knowing that he already saw all of this coming. Like, there's nothing happening that he is shocked by that was not already in the cards for me. You know what I mean? And I just pray that I will continue to be able to just see the wisdom of like the experiences I have in life. Like, what is this supposed to be teaching me? I don't want to miss it, God. Like, I do not want to miss it, and I don't want you to miss it. That's why I'm sharing this. I'm not just sharing this story to just put y'all in my tea, in my business. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I'm not angry at my parents anymore. Like, even the ones that did not apologize to me, that I feel like have not changed their ways, I've learned to let that go. Like, that's not on me to punish these people. If they bad people, they just gonna be bad people. There's nothing that you gonna do. You're not gonna guilt these people into feeling bad. They do not care. Like, if they don't care, they just don't care. And that's just a harsh reality that you have to come to. You have to care enough about yourself to move on. Like, you have to just forgive and move forward. Life goes on. Life goes on, and it should. You're not the worst thing that's happened to you. Feel me? Like, some things can really happen that take us aback and be like, whoo, did not see that coming, and I don't know how I'm gonna move forward. But you will, though. You will move forward. You will keep going, one foot in front of the other. I was able to do so much in my life, like, since those moments, even after having to give my child up and literally having her kidnapped from me and having to physically get in a fist fight to get her back and all of that. And I'm laughing through this because honestly, some of the stuff that I went through is just so comical to me. It's just like, I just cannot even believe that this is real life. Like, I just can't make this stuff up. And even after going through those things and feeling like, wow, like how do you trust people after that? After somebody trying to literally steal your child? Like, how do you not look over your shoulder all the time and think that people always have bad motives, you know? And I just pray that I will continue to be able to see the positive things in life, know that good things exist, and they don't just exist for other people, but they exist for me as well. That, you know, if God says that he has so much in store for us and that he will give us abundantly more than we can ever ask, think, or imagine, then I believe that. You know, if he says that he got something great for me, then I believe it. You know what I mean? Like, I will not be swindled and feed into the lies of the enemy that makes me feel like, oh, other people are blessed, but I'm not. Like, why would that be? God ain't out here picking and choosing. He got something great for everybody. Me and you and everybody that you know, your child, your children's children, all of that. He has something good in store for you. And it is on you to really defeat the enemy in your life, y'all. Like, you got to kill that beast. You got to just like tell yourself that the lies that you hear in your head are not real, because you know that they're not. And your head will play tricks on you, especially when things aren't going how you thought it would. Like, you'll really start to doubt yourself, just like second thought, like, on the second hand, maybe this plan didn't make no sense. Maybe, like, I really didn't know what I was doing, but maybe you did though. You know what I mean? Like, God tells us to go and to move and to do things, and we just do it. Like, he does not promise what the outcome is gonna be. We just know that in the long run it will work out for our greater good. You know, sometimes a part of our story is to stumble and fall. You know what I mean? And it's just all really about perspective, because a lot of times, like, the things that we think are like downfalls and the areas that we think we're messing up, like, for example, me having my child, are actually like good things. They're meant to help us, because I can definitely see that situation changed my life for the better. I thought that was the end of my life right there, and that this things is just gonna be so awful after that moment. And I have experienced joy beyond anything that I could imagine from giving birth to my daughter. I have 2 other beautiful children now, and I love every second I get to spend with them. I love just like watching them be who they are, and I'm just so thankful for their innocence. I'm so thankful that God, you know, has allowed me to forgive people, so I'm not raising them with hatred in my heart and I'm being mean to them because I'm angry at the world. Like, I'm so thankful that God, you know, like, saved me just in time before I caused irreparable damages to them. And we have to remember, you know, God did this for me, but not everybody really got to see the light before it was too late. You know, the people who hurt me in life, I do think they didn't all do the best they could, because definitely, you know, people could always do better sometimes. But I think for them to be able to do bad things to me, it must have meant that they were in a very unhealed, hurt place in their life. And like, when I look at it like that, it does make me feel a lot of compassion. You know what I mean? Because I do know what it is like to be hurt, to be upset. And, you know, we've all made mistakes as well. I'm sure if we really sit and think about it, we've probably done a thing or two to some people that wasn't right, that didn't best represent the type of person we are. There are some people out here today that you are the villain in their story. Like, they tell people about you. They be like, yeah, and I remember this one time in high school, this girl did this or that to me, and that person is you. So, you know, we can't be ignorant to the fact that we all make mistakes, and that includes other people. So, yeah, I shared all this really just to encourage you to just keep going, you know, to believe that everything that you're going through is for a reason. pray to God and ask him to reveal that reason to you so you don't miss it, so it's not for nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I would have hated if I went through all of this and it was in vain. I'd have hated to go through all of this and do the same thing to my daughter. Like, that would be absolutely insane. But people do that all the time. You do see that, where people just have bad habits flowing through their entire bloodline, and nobody ever thinks to say, hey, like, it ends with me, I'm gonna change this behavior, we're not doing this anymore. And I'm glad that God gave me that revelation. I'm glad that I have been able to see the joy in things, the beauty in life, to just be so grateful. I wake up every single day now and I just seek happiness. Like, I'm not out here feeling sorry for myself. Even when things aren't going according to plan, I just don't even worry about it. Right now, y'all, I had so many plans for when I hit 30. I just knew I was about to have so many things checked off my list. And I mean, in a sense, I do. But I also realized all the things I feel like I needed to accomplish in order to feel like I did something with my life is not necessary. I realize it doesn't make me less of a person. It doesn't mean that I'm not who God says I am because I have not achieved what I think I'm supposed to achieve. Because at the end of the day, God knows more than I do. And maybe the things that I've wanted for myself aren't even what's destined for me. You know, it could be something even better than that. So I'm just trusting in the process now and having faith and really just not sweating anything. I'm loving how this makeup look is turning out. It's a little bit more full coveragey than I wanted, but it's cool. I am not mad at it. It looks good. Yeah. So yeah, I really thought like things were gonna be a certain way. I got back off of vacation. I just got back from spending like 2 weeks with my mom. I'm so thankful that my kids have a beautiful relationship with their grandma and that she's getting a second chance. You know what I mean? Everybody deserves a second chance, and I'm glad to see that she is doing good with it. She's so good to my kids, and my kids love her. Since we got back, they have not stopped talking about that they want to go back to Nana. Can I ask Nana to come? And everything. And this is after they spent a whole month there and literally just got back, and they already asked him to go back. I'm like, well, dang, if you don't want to live here, just say that. No, but for real, like, I'm thankful for that, and it makes me feel good. And I feel like it also helps in my healing, just watching their relationship. And you know, sometimes I catch myself feeling a little bit sad, like, oh, that could have been us. But then, you know, I'm glad it's them anyways. You know what I mean? Because had I not gone through the things I went through in life, I don't think I would be the person that I am today. I wouldn't be as wise as I am. I wouldn't have the knowledge to save my daughter from certain things, my daughters from certain things, because truthfully, my mom's life was completely different from mine. You know, she didn't have certain experiences, so maybe she's just gonna help me or even understand the way I was feeling, because that was never her reality. So she just didn't get it, and that's okay. That's between her and God. I'm gonna just stop trying to play God in my situations and just let it go and let it be. And I have found so much peace in living like that. I hope this really encourage you to make the first step and heal from whatever it is that is holding you back. Let go of just lies that you've told yourself over the years. If you feel like you are unworthy, unlovable, and things of that nature. I'm just using this eyeshadow as a lip liner because I don't have a lip liner right here. Yeah, if you feel unloved, unworthy, and you're in a bad situation right now and you think that's what you deserve because somebody has lied to you and told you that, y'all, I pray that y'all will know that that's not true. God never means to cause any of us harm. All good things come from the Lord. And if it ain't good, it ain't from God. And that's on everything. So we gotta learn to see things for what they are. Just as how God exists, the devil exists, and there is genuine evil in this world. And it is unfortunate that good people get caught up in the crossfire, but that's why we just gotta stay prayed up, y'all. You gotta stay so prayed up. Moving forward, this next decade of my life, I really just plan to just share the overflow of gratitude and joy that I found in my life. I hope to really inspire people to, see that God is good and the world is amazing, and there is so much beauty in the world that we live in. There's a lot of bad things going on, but there's a lot of beautiful things as well. And if we just get up every day, just being bombarded with news and everything of just everything that's going wrong, y'all, it's no wonder people are so depressed. So I just want to help carry the light and just, pick up the cross and do whatever it is that God instructs me to do. Share my story because I know it's not mine to keep. And I've found so much freedom in knowing that there is no condemnation in Christ, and I'm not what happened to me. You know what I mean? It no longer has a hold over me. I've genuinely done the work and worked through these things where I don't feel like there's something wrong with me or that I deserve these things that happen to me or whatever lies I used to tell myself. Things happen. Bad things happen to good people all the time, and I'm no different. And thankfully, I'm no longer in those situations. And yeah, I'm not gonna trick myself or let the enemy trick me into feeling like I still am in survival mode. Like I gotta get up every day and be stressed out. Stressed out for what? Stressed out for what? When I got a fresh chance every day to be great. Like, when life is so amazing, when I got 3 healthy kids, when I got a roof over my head, like, are you nuts? I'll be damned if I'll really be sitting around here feeling sorry for myself for longer than 15 minutes. Like, we all have bad days, and I will give myself that. And I definitely do allow myself to feel like disappointed if things don't work out, or if something that I was really looking forward to just did not happen for me. I will give myself that, but it ain't gonna be too long. Because when you sit in those emotions for too long, you give it too much life, and that is a room for the enemy to come in and start planting all kinds of other seeds. And the place that I was in a few years ago, just really bitter and upset and trying to drink my life away because I really just did not feel like I had purpose, that's never gonna be me again. Never. So yeah, I just want to remind y'all that you are great. You're here for a reason. I can't tell you what that reason is. That is between you and your creator. You gotta talk to him, consult him. I'll be sharing lots of videos on how I found my way back, how to navigate prayer, like all of those things, because I've really been growing in my faith. And being a Christian really isn't just about having God and just like hoarding him to yourself and just being like, ooh, I found God, praise the Lord, and you just sitting on that. You know what I mean? Like, the Bible and God himself instructed us to share the good news. And I'm here to share the good news. I'm here to make sure that my life is a living testimony of God's goodness. Because when I think of places that I used to be, in the mental state that I used to be in, I know for a fact I did not have to be here. And I'm thankful that I am. I'm thankful that I'm going to get to see my kid's 10th birthday this year. The same child that caused me so much anxiety just thinking I can't care for her. I'm thankful that I got to live and see that I can take care of her, and God does provide, and I've been able to do so much for her. And she really wants for nothing. I've been blessed with so much, and I'm just so glad that I did not give up along the way, that I stuck it out, and here I am. You know, I have not made it to my final destination because life is a journey, and I know for a fact that me finding God now does not mean that I am omitted from having any bad experiences moving forward. I know that you know, life is a marathon, and you know, I will have other times that, you know, I'll be down or whatever, but I know who my Savior is, and I know who God called me to be. So I'm praying that during those times that I will, you know, hold firm to who I know that I am and not be fed no lies. No lies. Put this cream blush on top because this is all the blush I got right here. But yeah, I really do hope that this message reaches wherever it needs to reach and whoever it needs to reach. Yeah, my camera died, but this is it. I just put my lashes on. I did some setting spray and highlight, blush, all that good stuff. I don't know if that part captured, but yeah, I'm just gonna put some gloss. Artist Couture. It's this nude gloss. It's uncensored, one of my favorite nude glosses. Just gonna put it in the center of my lip. It looks very scary, but give it some time. Okay, y'all, that's it. This is the final look. I'm going to sharpen this pencil eventually and just reline around my lip, but as you can tell, like the lip gloss, it looks scary at first. Yes, baby. Okay, baby, wait for him at the door, okay? Yeah, the lip gloss is scary at first, but what I love about them is how they melt into your lip, and then they just look so good. Like, you can't tell me this don't eat. This that ombre lip that everybody's been doing, but instead of having to do multiple different products and putting concealer in the center and all that good stuff, this gloss just gets me that look just with liner and the gloss. So absolutely love it. I don't remember where the camera cut off at, so I don't want to be repetitive, but y'all, I think you get the point of this video. Just really don't give up hope. Just know that you are loved, you are worthy, you're not your story, and if anything, your story is meant to be shared with others. Do not live in shame because of things that you've gone through, because those are all things that the enemy uses to basically just keep a hold on you, keep you just feeling so ashamed, feeling like you were stupid, feeling like you just weren't worthy, just all kinds of things. So just shake that off. Just be like, no, enemy, you are a liar, because God says I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And if he said that, then obviously it's true, because God is not a liar, and he is good, and he's good to us, and he loves us all, like all of us. So just don't forget that. Okay, so I'm gonna go off and go enjoy my first day in my 30s, big 30. Yeah, one more look. My hair is not done. I don't have my wig on or nothing yet, so that's why I still have this bonnet on and my robe, because I'm actually about to go eat some breakfast. A little bit backwards to do my face and my lip and all that to eat, but I wanted y'all to see the finished look. So yeah, I'm definitely about to go eat right now though. Yeah. Anyways, bye. Alright y'all, this is the final look. I'm wearing this tank top, well, bodysuit. I don't remember where I got this from, but I got it a while ago. It's so nice though. Love it. Love her life. The material is so nice. It's like a velvet material, so it's really nice and thick. love it, very comfortable. I have on my necklace that says K. I got all my permanent jewelry, so my 2 bracelets, my ring. I just threw my wig on and I got it in this claw clip back here because I'm not gonna curl it right now. And then I'm just wearing these cargo pants, and I don't have on my shoes yet, but I'm just gonna put on some black Hey Dudes because they're very comfortable. So yeah, that's it. That's the final look.